Good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday, March 29th at 4 p.m. This is the National Weather Service in Springfield with a briefing on the 2 rounds of severe thunderstorm potential beginning tonight and lasting into Sunday. With the first round of severe potential, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk or a level 2 out of 5 risk, mainly for areas along and north of I-44 and also for a few areas across far southwest Missouri. The main hazards with this round of storms is going to be damaging winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. We also have a lower confidence in hail getting up to the size of golf balls. Now, that's going to be conditional on how long these storms can remain discrete supercells. In general, we expect storms to form somewhere across eastern Kansas and northern Oklahoma this evening and quickly grow into a line of storms. Therefore, that would decrease the risk of that large hail up to golf balls and increase the widespread wind probabilities. However, we can't rule out the probability of those discrete storms getting hail up to the size of golf balls. The tornado probabilities are also very low and very conditional. We cannot rule anything out at this point. However, the threat is very low for tornadoes with this first round. For round two, these storms are expected to develop somewhere across the eastern Ozarks to eastern Missouri Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 3 out of 5 or an enhanced risk for severe potential for these locations with a decreasing risk further to the west. The main probabilities with this round of storms are going to be hail up to the size of tennis balls, wind gusts up to around 70 miles per hour, and there is a relatively higher threat for tornadoes with the second round of storms compared to the first round of storms. You can see the hatched probabilities for all of these hazards. That indicates that there's a risk of higher end severe hazards with those as well. So we overall expect this second round to be more impactful than the first round. However, there remains some uncertainty on exactly how these 2 rounds are going to play out, and how round one plays out is going to affect how round two plays out. So we have a couple of different scenarios that we are anticipating. So for scenario one, we call this the washout scenario. Essentially, the storms that form across northern Oklahoma and eastern Kansas tonight just barrel through the area and don't dissipate until they get into far eastern Missouri. What that means for round two is that the atmosphere will be more stable across our forecast area, and those storms likely wouldn't redevelop until they get until far eastern and southeast Missouri. With scenario two, this is the opposite end of the spectrum. That first round of severe thunderstorms tonight dissipates pretty early as they move east. And what that means is that for round two, Sunday afternoon, development can form farther to the west, and we can increase our severe risk Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening for our area. Scenario three is what we think currently is most likely based on model trends, and that's an in-between scenario where the storms tonight get into western Missouri and dissipate as they generally go in between somewhere between Highway 65 and Highway 63. That's roughly between the Springfield and Rolla or West Plains areas. What that means for round two is that severe thunderstorm initiation would occur somewhere around Highway 63 or east. Again, that's around the Rolla West Plains area. Looking more closely at our timeline for thunderstorm development, so we could see a few storms develop as early as around 10 o'clock this evening across southeast Kansas. However, the severe threat doesn't look like it ramps up until after midnight for those locations. And those threats are designated by the pink dashed lines there that you see on the graphic. And again, depending on how far east those storms get with this round one, we could see that severe threat get to the Springfield, Bolivar, Branson area tonight. And then for round 2, that threat is going to be increasing Sunday afternoon into at least the early evening Sunday for portions of the eastern Ozarks and southeast Missouri. Looking at our confidence information, our confidence on location has increased into the medium category. Again, we're kind of leaning towards that middle ground scenario 3 that we discussed earlier. Confidence on timing is in the medium to high range. And then confidence in severe occurrence is in the high range. The atmosphere does appear to be conducive for severe thunderstorm development. And then the overall flood risk is very low. We expect these storms to be progressive enough so that the flooding risk is going to remain low. Also do want to mention the severe risk next week as well. It appears that we get into a bit of a more active scenario. So the Storm Prediction Center has already outlined a 30% chance for portions of the eastern Ozarks and southeast Missouri on Wednesday, and also a 15 to 29% chance for locations farther to the west, which is indicating that there is a decent signal for severe weather potential in the middle of the week. So this will be a day to keep an eye on as we move forward. The Climate Prediction Center has also outlined our area in a slight to moderate risk for heavy precipitation for the April 5th through April 8th timeframe. Overall, it looks like the general weather pattern will be conducive for increased moisture across the area, which could increase our flooding risk. That's all for this briefing. I want to encourage everyone to stay weather aware throughout the weekend and into next week as things stay active as we get into our spring severe weather season. Make sure you have multiple ways to get warnings. Make sure you have plans in place for navigating severe weather, and stay safe through this season.